Let's go Browns! The pressure is building in Cleveland, and it's impossible to ignore. After another string of disappointing performances and a record that speaks louder than any post-game press conference ever could, the future of the Browns' leadership is now in serious question. Fans are fed up, and rightfully so. The offense is broken, the play calling is under fire, and the once high expectations for this season are quickly slipping away. But what if change is actually coming? What if the next move could completely reshape the identity of this franchise? Behind the scenes, there's already talk, rumors, whispers, possibilities that could send shockwaves through the league. There are real options out there, ones that could transform the Browns overnight. And if the team makes the decision to move on from its current coach, the names being floated aren't just filler, they're serious, and they could bring serious results. So let's dive in, because what's happening right now in Cleveland could mark the beginning of one of the most dramatic shifts this franchise has seen in years. So click the like button and come with me and I'll tell you everything. Kevin Stefanski's days in Cleveland might be numbered. After posting a 4-19 record in his last 23 games, the whispers have turned into full-blown outcries from Browns fans who are fed up with the stagnant offense, questionable play calling, and clock management that has cost them crucial games. The offensive unit has managed to score 17 or fewer points in 11 straight contests, setting a grim franchise record. At this point, Cleveland is dead last in the NFL in points per game, averaging a miserable 13.7. With performances this poor, the pressure is mounting, and fans are asking the inevitable: who could actually replace Stefanski if the Browns decide to move on? Let's talk about some of the biggest names floating around the league that could bring new life to this offense. First up is Cliff Kingsbury, currently the offensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders. Kingsbury's work with Jaden Daniels has caught the attention of many. He helped the Commanders reach the NFC Championship last year, which speaks volumes. Kingsbury has head coaching experience from his time with the Arizona Cardinals, and his track record of developing young quarterbacks could make him a compelling option for Cleveland, especially if they're planning around someone like Dylan Gabriel or even Shader Sanders. Another intriguing candidate is Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bills. If there's one thing Brady's shown, it's that he can lead an explosive offense. With Josh Allen and James Cook under his wing, the Bills are currently averaging 27.8 points per game, more than double what the Browns are putting up. That's the kind of offensive firepower that could instantly elevate Cleveland's unit. Brady also fits what the team seems to need most: an offensive-minded leader. And with Jim Schwartz doing an excellent job with the defense, the Browns don't need to touch that side of the ball. The right offensive coach could make all the difference. And here's a name that might surprise you: Bill Belichick. Yes, the former Browns head coach turned Patriots legend, now at UNC Charlotte and reportedly under pressure after some rough outings. Could Belichick make a return to where it all began? He has the Cleveland ties, having coached the Browns from 1991 to 1995. And let's be honest, seeing him return to the city that let him go just before he became the most successful head coach in NFL history would be nothing short of poetic. Sure, he's older now and dealing with some distractions off the field, but his football mind is still unmatched. If the Browns want a proven winner, there might not be a better resume out there. But the list doesn't end there. Another shocking name? John Harbaugh. Yes, the longtime Ravens head coach could potentially be on the hot seat in Baltimore. And if the Ravens part ways with him, should the Browns make the call? Some Browns fans might cringe at the idea of hiring a division rival, but Harbaugh has built a reputation as one of the best coaches in the league. His early years without Lamar Jackson weren't as impressive, which shows he benefited from having a superstar quarterback, but his ability to build a winning culture is undeniable. If he's available, Cleveland would be crazy not to consider him. Now, if you want something a little more off the wall, how about John Gruden? The former Raiders and Buccaneers head coach is currently working with Barstool Sports, but make no mistake, the man still lives and breathes football. Gruden's fiery personality, deep understanding of offensive schemes, and passion for the game could bring a spark to Cleveland. There are concerns. Of course, his controversial exit from the Raiders still looms, but if the Browns want someone who will obsess over the playbook and bring national attention, Gruden could be that guy. Then there's a crop of offensive coordinators who are getting buzz around the league. Matt Nagy from the Chiefs, who despite a rough tenure as head coach of the Bears, is now running plays for one of the most potent offenses in the NFL. Or how about Josh Grizzard, the OC for Tampa Bay? He's been working wonders with Baker Mayfield, yes, that Baker Mayfield, who's now being talked about as an MVP candidate. If Grizzard can resurrect Mayfield's career, imagine what he could do in Cleveland with the right weapons and system in place. The college ranks also offer some interesting names. Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame has brought energy and leadership to a historic program and is now being considered for an NFL move. Dan Lanning from Oregon is another option, especially if Cleveland decides to build around a young quarterback like Dillon Gabriel, who already has chemistry with Lanning. Finally, there's the Callahan question. Both Brian and Bill are technically available. While Brian's recent failures with the Titans don't inspire much confidence, some fans are calling for Bill Callahan to return and fix the offensive line issues. Not necessarily as a head coach, but in some kind of advisory or OL coach role. It's clear that Cleveland needs help in the trenches, and Callahan could offer that stability. At the end of the day, it all hinges on one thing: what happens this Sunday against the Dolphins. If Cleveland, favored in this matchup, lays another offensive egg and fails to score 20 points, that could be the breaking point. Stefanski's supporters will be hard-pressed to defend another flat performance, and the organization may finally decide it's time to pull the plug. So now it's your turn, Browns fans. If the Browns fall flat again, who would you want leading this team into the future? Would you go with a proven name like Belichick or Harbaugh? Or do you roll the dice on a young, hungry coordinator like Joe Brady or Josh Grizzard? Let me know what you think. Who should replace Kevin Stefanski if the Browns finally make the move? Because the reality is, we're not just talking about replacing a coach, we're talking about changing the entire trajectory of this franchise. Browns fans have been patient for decades, watching coach after coach come and go, each one promising to be the answer. Stefanski, for a time, seemed like he might be. But the numbers don't lie, and neither do the performances on Sundays. The team looks uninspired. The offense lacks rhythm. And when your best play call is a predictable play action that your O-line can't protect long enough to execute, you've got real problems. That's why someone like Joe Brady feels so enticing. Imagine a Browns offense that averages close to 28 points a game. That's what Brady has done in Buffalo, and if he could bring even half of that production to Cleveland, we're talking about a completely different team. A team that doesn't need to rely solely on its defense to scrape by. A team that can finally close out tight games, rather than give them away with poor clock management and stale play calls. Then there's the bold, almost Hollywood-like move of bringing back Bill Belichick. Sure, it sounds wild, but could it actually happen? Maybe the storybook ending is Belichick coming full circle, returning to the city that once let him go, with the experience, the rings, and the fire to take one last shot at building a winner. Whether or not that's realistic is one thing. But it's not impossible. And in the NFL, we've learned to never say never. Cleveland is at a crossroads. The roster has talent. The defense is playoff caliber. The offense? Not even close. That's where the next head coach has to make their mark. The decision the Browns make in the coming weeks or months could shape this team's future for years. So again, I ask, what do you think, Browns fans? Who's the right leader to turn this thing around and bring winning football back to Cleveland for good? Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the video that's on the screen now for more exclusive Browns coverage. All the latest news, rumors, and updates. Go Browns!